Hey guys, you're watching the Awkward AFTERBUZZ TV after show. It's the season finale, or is it the series finale? We don't know. Second chances and happy campers, happier trails. We're here and we're going to talk all about it. Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
I said boom, chicka boom. I said boom, chicka boom. Yeah, strobe lights. I said a boom, chicka rocka, chicka boom. Veronica doesn't remember singing this song at camp, and I'm over here feeling super old because I remember this song at camp.
I got you, girl.
Thank you, Alexis, in the booth. This was my
doing good.
This
That
was
was
my
good.
song. Oh, underwater style.
Maybe I do remember going like this.
Yeah, so you just had to do it in all the different voices and stuff. Anyways, hello everyone. I'm Tiona Hobson. You can find me on Twitter at the Tiona Hobson, and joining me as always is Veronica Gabriel.
Hey guys, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at _Veronica GAB.
Yeah, so Awkward tonight. We got a 1-hour season finale. It could be the series finale. I'll talk about it after we break down the episode. I have some news to share with everyone. So let's get right into it. And we're kind of going to just flush through the episodes and the couples like we love to do. So let's start off with Jenna and Luke. / Maddie. So Luke, last week, I even said this. Everyone knows I love Luke, but I do think he's being a little possessive right now.
A little pushy.
He's being very pushy in making her choose SEU. They're walking around the campus, getting a tour. He set up this meeting with the dean. Mm-hmm. I just want to point out that Jenna, gets nervous and has to go to the bathroom. She goes into the guys' bathroom. And the dean is in there.
I knew that would be him.
I did too. He came out of a stall, which if you're a guy and you're in a stall, chances are you went poop. Okay, let's just call it what it is. He came out of a stall and did not wash his hands.
Ew.
But the extra guy who was at the urinal, he walked up after he said hey to Jenna for being in the wrong bathroom. He did walk up to the sink and wash his hands at least. Yeah. But that dean is nasty. So, Jenna, you shouldn't go to SEU just because the dean is nasty. And he did not wash his hands, and he probably went number 2 in there.
I'm glad you caught that part.
I did. I always pay attention in scenes in bathrooms to see who actually takes the time to be like, you know what, guys? I think my character would walk up to the sink and, give a little wash here or something. But, yeah. So, we have that going on. And then she's in the meeting and he already really likes her, which is great because, he kind of is messing with her a little bit, asking her questions about books that no one likes. But he basically says, hey, submit an application. I'll take care of the rest. You're in.
Yeah, I was very surprised at that. First of all, I thought he was intimidating because he was being all serious. But then once, he got her to relax and said, I don't even care about that book, you could tell things were a little more cool between them. But I feel like Luke did so much pushing that's why he was so, to get him to read her stuff, that's why it wasn't, what am I trying to say here? That's why he didn't, talk to her more about herself. Mm-hmm. He didn't even ask anything about her. It was just do you like this book? No? Okay, cool, me too. You're good.
Yeah, he's I already like your writing, so.
Yeah, so it was, a lot of Luke.
Yeah, and Luke did push him, and he probably didn't read every single writing sample of all the other students who came through. I don't know how much time deans have on their hands.
How much power does Luke have in going to this school to get a chance with the dean?
It depends on the school size. My school size, I was on a very talkative level with the dean of my department and could go in his office and kind of talk to him about anything and be like, hey, I have a question about this, or hey, this teacher is really pissing me off. Can I get out? So I just think it's about the size of the school. And
I don't think we could do that.
And I think that Luke is also a teacher's pet. Look at him at Idea Bin. He's true. Definitely the teacher's pet there. He gets in with the right people and kind of forces his way in, because even over at Idea Bin, you have what's-her-face oh, I'm going to do the evaluations, and it's going to involve everything that you've worked on for the entire time, whether it was published or not. And, it's clearly about Jenna. And Luke tells Jenna, you know, like, hey, you might not get asked back next year, but you have SCU, so it doesn't matter. And I'm like, no, it does matter, because she has Idea Bin because of you, and she has SCU because of you. Yeah. What is she? I mean, yes, her own writing samples got her in, because I'm not going to take away from her writing abilities, but for the most part, you know, he's the one who's guiding her down these paths.
And I feel like he almost wants her to be his perfect girl. Everything that he's just pushing and pushing and pushing, and even bringing her to the party at the end, like, he wanted to make a good impression on his friends of his new girlfriend that is going to be the perfect girl to fit in with this other couple that's there, and they're going to be best friends and things like that. So I just like Maddie.
I just like Maddie. Yeah, so Luke was a little all over the place tonight, but you know, Jenna does start thinking about things, because she realizes, hey, I might not go back to Wyckoff ever. And she gets a FaceTime from her roommate, Britta, who's all excited because she got matching comforters for them. It's so cute. I wouldn't have that with my roommate in college. So.
I wouldn't either, but...
Mostly because my roommate would have gotten drunk and mistaken my bed for hers, or like threw up all over it or something like that would have been my luck, you know?
Did you have one roommate?
I think every year I lived with someone different. But
it was always one?
Nope. I was in a 4-person room my freshman year, a 3-person room my sophomore year, and then a 2-person room my junior year, and then an off-campus apartment with, there's 3 of us for that.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, I had 6 at one point, and then I had 4 for a few years. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I got lucky with my 4 because 2 of the girls ended up moving out. So, and they never replaced them. So 2 of us had a 4-person room to ourselves. It was really nice.
Wow.
Yeah. That was fun times. Anyways, enough about college. So, and then Jenna tells her mom about, you know, that she basically got into SCU, and Lacey's like, hey, Jenna, didn't you tell Maddie that he shouldn't do that when he was trying to come to you at Wyckoff? And do you believe that what Jenna's excuse is of, you know, it's for different reasons because she always wanted to go to SCU?
I mean, in a way, like kind of what Maddie was saying at the end too, that she did originally want to go there. She does have these accomplishments in her life, but I think Luke is the pulling factor for her. And even Luke said, like, oh, it's all about your talent and hard work. I'm like, no, that's a piece of crap. Like, Luke got you in here. It's not about your talent and hard work. I mean, maybe the writing, because, you know, the dean did, but Luke pushed her to go, so.
Yeah, and when he showed up at the camp after the party, he says, I want you to make, or he said the right choice is SCU and to be with me.
Yeah.
And
I wrote down that he also said, like, no, like when he was getting up and not staying, he was like, no, this is a time for you to be with your old friends. I'm like,
yeah,
old
I picked
friends?
up on that too.
New friends? Are you looking to make new friends? No,
yeah,
I want to keep these old friends.
What's wrong with having old friends?
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't either, but, you know, that happens. So they do end up going to this open house, and meanwhile, you know, Maddie and Lacey have had their talk, which I love how Lacey always says she's not getting involved in Jenna's life anymore, and they say, oh, fine, you got it out of me. Yeah. And it's like Maddie just stood there. He didn't say anything to her. Yeah. But she tells him that Jenna is planning to transfer to SCU to be with Luke, and that if Maddie has feelings for her, he needs to stand up now or forever hold his peace, basically. Yeah. And so Maddie takes that as, you know, his moment, and at camp is going to be the moment when he
It's the perfect moment.
It's the perfect moment. It's where their relationship started. And it's a great full circle moment for them. So when she finally does get there, they break in and get their ice cream together, which is really cute. And he has this little ring that the kids were making already. He's talking to Jake about commitment and finding like the person you want to be committed to. And I'm just like, Maddie, what are you doing?
What are you about to do?
What are you doing? She is still in a relationship. You can't propose to someone when you guys are barely on speaking terms 90% of the time.
Yeah, he definitely took a bold move there.
Yes,
but I think it's worth it. I like Maddie, and I'm glad they had their little talk in the closet, because
I am too, and I'm glad that he didn't he didn't say anything. You know, he just said, I want you to choose you. I want you to do what's best for you. I don't want you to choose me or Luke. I want you to choose yourself because you've done so much groundwork and you've worked so hard to get to where you are. Don't blow it off all away for a guy to come to a school. And Jenna went to that party and clearly did not fit in with those people. It would be like high school all over again for her. Whereas at Wyckoff, she was blossoming and blooming and she was becoming her own person. And she was around people who understood her and she was kind of, you know, in with the cool crowd. And at SCU, she would just go back to being a wallflower.
And that's exactly what she needed to hear. Like, Maddie is the first person that said, do what you want to do. I don't want you to choose me because I want you to. I don't want you to choose Luke or SCU because Luke wants you to. Do what you want to do, truly. So I think that's what really, like, hit her in the end.
Yes. And, you know, he says when the time is right, we'll find each other. We always do.
So cute.
And this reminded me, I heard this phrase over the weekend. I was at a panel for Empire, and someone used the term, it's the Hancock Effect. If you've seen the movie Hancock with Will Smith and Charlize Theron, I believe, they are superheroes who constantly, like, when they're together, they're always being drawn together by their love, but it's so powerful that they end up destroying the world every time they're together.
Oh, yeah.
So it kind of reminded me, I was like, oh man, that's a perfect example for so many of my friends' relationships. And then I was watching the show tonight and I was like, wow, Jenna and Maddie are Hancock.
Wow.
It's the Hancock effect because they're so great when they're together, but they also, like, find a way to screw it up and the world comes crashing down. But the world just keeps leading them. It's like magnets being attracted to each other. Like, they just keep coming back together no matter what. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I think that they found each other and that, you know, 10 years down the line or whatever, they'll probably be together and married and have babies and all that.
Yay.
Yay.
What we always wanted.
But, you know, at the end of the day, Luke left and Jenna and Maddie have this talk and then start making out. And then it's like, hey, Jay.
Did she
are you going to break up with your boyfriend that you live with? Or are you just going to keep making out with your high school ex?
Like, he's probably at home like, yeah, she's going to go to SU. I can't wait for her to get home. I want to make dinner. Like,
he's got this whole thing planned for her, and Jenna's just at the campfire making out with Maddie in front of everyone. Just like, hey, guys,
nobody cares.
Look at this.
Just...
No one cares. It's like, Jenna and Maddie.
Yeah, they're holding hands. Cool.
Yeah, no big at all. The other couple I want to talk about is Tamara and Patrick, because she has been lying to him, just, you know, letting him believe that she's a lot wealthier than she actually is. And she comes clean about it. Yeah. And like a person should be, he didn't care that she was not rich. At first he thought, you know, hey, you know, we're all cash poor sometimes. And I'm like, no, there's just no. I want the life where I can just be cash poor, but still have like, like in investments and stuff. Like, I have $30 million. No, I just got no money at all. Okay,
like, there's no cash to come out of that account.
It's coming out of nowhere. I'm gonna Uber drive to, like, pay bills or something. I don't know.
I thought he was cute.
I thought he was cute too, and I think it's funny that he still, in his rich people thinking of manners, wasn't understanding fully some of the things she was saying. Yeah. You know, because he says, like, oh, that's okay. Like, that's what credit cards are for. And that's what got Tamara in trouble in the first place was credit cards and abusing her power with those. But he, you know, he then comes to her job and he's like, I want to take you to Catalina for a long weekend, which Catalina is gorgeous. It's amazing. It's a little island off the coast of Los Angeles. It's about, I think it's like 12 miles away from LA. It's really fun.
I heard there's like zip lining.
Yeah, there's zip lining. There's what else? Those cars that are like not RVs, like the dirt like cars, dune buggies. Yeah, there's that kind of stuff. There's fishing. There's great beaches, food. I went to summer camp. Well, not summer camp, like science camps out there. Like, we'd go and explore the marina and stuff, like snorkeling and stuff.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's always a fun little trip over there. It reminds me of the LFO video, if anyone's ever seen Summer Girls. Like girls that wear Abercrombie.
Yeah.
Like that video, the setting there always reminded me of Catalina. It's so
I
quaint
haven't seen
and
that
cute.
video in a while.
I know,
I'll have
but
to
it
watch
just
it again.
always reminds me of it. So when you watch it, you'll think of that.
Good to know.
Yeah, but Tamara is trying to be a responsible adult, which I totally understand her struggle because it's like, oh, I need to be smart and not spend money because I'm trying to save and pay off bills. But, oh, my friends just invited me to do something really fun.
I know. It was big of her to turn that down.
It was.
For work. Because we know tomorrow she'd be like, yeah, it's a good time. Like, let's go. I'm ready.
Yes, exactly. And then he comes back and, gives her flowers. It's like, hey, because I get to go have fun and you have to work. And then he's like, hey, so I don't want to always keep asking you to have to skip work for me. So let me just pay off your credit card debt. Yeah. And let's go to my parents' winter chalet for, Christmas and ski next to all the famous people he listed. And I was like, where is Prince Charming in my life?
Where is he for us? I would gladly take that.
Does this ish happen in real life? Because I could use it.
He has money.
Yeah.
He's going to take me places.
He's going to take me places. Does this make me a gold digger? I'm not sure.
He accepts me for who I am. The poor person for who I am.
Yes. He's just, in his mind, again, he's just that guy who's like, $12,000 is like nothing. Yeah. Let me just pay it off for you. And I think that if I were Tamara, because Tamara, is at first kind of thinking about doing it. She's like, it feels empowering to have someone take care of you. I think for me, if someone was going to do that, I'd be like, okay, you can pay it off, but let me pay you back and maybe not with interest and not at a fast rate. So I'm still going to go on these trips with you.
Yeah.
And then I'll just slowly pay you back eventually.
I don't know what I would do because she's with him, but does she love him yet? So that's like an okay reason to break it off. But, well, not an okay reason. But anyways, like if he pays for it, then she'll kind of like owe him. Like if she wanted to break up with him later, it would be harder, I feel like, because she'd be like, well, he was nice enough to pay off the money. I owe it to be with him.
Yeah, it's kind of like, just, does he own me in a way? Like, it's not slavery, but it's kind of like, I can't break up with you now. I feel like I'm obligated to remain with you and to like be happy and not complain about you when you're being a bad boyfriend.
So I feel like in the end she made the right decision.
I think so too.
And if after, like what she said, like after she pays off all this debt and gets her life situated, then if they have the chance to be together, then they can.
Yeah, and I mean, they're both going to be in New York still, so you never know what might happen.
Yeah, I forgot he was there.
Well, I mean, I guess she has to figure out if her mom's going to let her go back because she still has to pay off all that debt, so she might not be in New York as soon as she thinks she's going to be. Yeah. But, they're still there, and so you never know what might happen once they're back in the city and if she's able to, find some ways to pay off the money. So good for her for, forging her own path and not letting no man decide who she gonna be.
Yeah, and this is the first time, because remember, I think it was the last episode that they were saying that she goes kind of not from guy to guy, but she hasn't really had time to be herself. So this could be good. I
think it's gonna be very good for her. I'm excited for her and for what lies ahead in her life. Yeah. Because I think she's gonna do great things. And then this whole like $12,000, she's gonna be like Oprah and be like, oh my gosh, I was $12,000 in debt and look at me now, I run the world. And
she could be Oprah.
She's gonna have one of those like poor to success stories where maybe she even becomes like a financial person who helps people get out of debt because she found her way out.
Yeah. She could be like a motivational speaker.
Yes. See, the possibilities are endless for Tamara. So good for her. And speaking of endless possibilities, and Oprah, Lissa over here with her toner size empire it's super successful. The sign up sheet for her classes at the club, or there's a waiting list for that. She's got 10,000 views on one video online.
Crazy. Who knew a cross could do that much?
Who knew? You know what? You lead them to the pasture and they will take the reins. I don't know what that really means. I just wanted to sound like educated.
That was great. We write that down as like quote of the day.
Quote of the day right there. So Jake is helping her make some flashy, fancy videos. Mm-hmm. They've got one of those tracks for, you know, the camera to kind of move with the shot. They've got strobe lights going. I'm just thinking, who's gonna see the exercises? It's so dark.
It's so dark. Like, what was the point of that? But I think Jake could totally be like a producer or director. I thought that's what he was gonna do. Because he was great. He was great. Coordinating the whole thing, making everyone listen.
And it's not easy to get a shoot together, especially that quick. You know, they got it together quick. And so because of the success of her videos and everything, when she gets to camp, her mom brings this dude, Garrett Gibson, who's a giant fan and has like an international church-based thing with lawyers and everything. And he wants to buy a toner size and use it and launch it internationally, and gives her a giant contract to look over. You know, he's gonna buy her out of it basically. Mm-hmm. And I really was like, Lissa, don't do it.
Yeah, she like needs to claim her success, her name, and make this into something that she totally could be so successful with.
Yes.
So I'm glad that she didn't do it. But I was kind of surprised that, I mean, I guess I get that her mom is like really into just making money and having money, but you'd think that she would empower her a little bit more than what she did.
Yeah,
but then again, she is Apollo's mom.
Yeah. So and I think she just was looking like, hey, look, someone wants to buy it, sell it now. And I'm thinking like, if someone wants to buy it now, imagine
what it could be.
Yeah. You know, they see the potential. So stick with yourself. And I love that Sadie was actually kind of the one who was like, Lissa, why would you want to sell it to someone? You worked so hard to build this on your own. Why would you give it over to someone else?
Yeah.
Which, you know, Sadie had a difficult episode. We'll get to her in a little bit. But then there's Jake, who, you know, his boss, Derek, is telling him, you know, I'm going to give you a pay raise and a promotion. And I've been here straight out of high school. I took a job, and 20 years later, here I am doing my thing. And that was finally the wake-up call Jake needed to finally realize what it is he wants. Whatever it is that he wants, it's clearly not here at the club for like a longevity career. He clearly wants to do something more, and he just needed a little motivation to get there.
I thought the whole time, that Derek was jealous of Jake the whole time because he was so hard on him, and then Jake getting fired and then coming back and everything. But then when he was like, I kind of see a little bit of myself in you. Like, you're like, it's a mini me. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I'm glad that this is what it took to get Jake to realize he could do so much more.
Exactly. With his life. Exactly. He can like be a director.
Yeah.
And so he finally quits, and he decides he's going to go to New York City.
Yeah, this is great.
I was like, so is all roads lead to New York? Is everyone just going to get there, and we're going to have a Glee season where everyone lives in a loft together? Because I'm down for it.
Yeah. No, that would be cool.
That would be really cool. I would definitely be okay with it. But Tamara, you know, is right there to be like, hey, I know everything about New York. Let me show you around. And so
that'll be good for the two of them, and he can find himself during this whole, maybe he'll end up going to school. Who knows what he'll do? There's lots of opportunities.
Lots of excuse me. And so then that leaves us with poor Sadie for tonight. Sadie had a rough one, guys. She's had last week was rough for her as well.
Yeah.
Basically everyone is mad at her because you know, she's been a horrible friend, and Lissa finally stood up to her. Tamara, you know, she wouldn't give Tamara money or even be supportive of trying to help Tamara find a way to pay off the credit card bills and stuff. And she's just never liked Jenna. So there's that. But she still has Maddie, and Maddie comes to her saying he needs a friend. And she basically just starts bitching about everything else and making it all about her. Maddie is able to get her to surprise Lacey at school because Maddie had missed their presentation for their German class. And so they showed up in the brat truck, which I was very excited to see Sadie back in her little get up for that. Yeah. It's like, oh, memories.
Yeah, she was cute. But I think that, first of all, Maddie always pulls through for Lacey. Like, that, you know that he loves Lacey deep down. Like a mother.
He wants that to be his mother-in-law.
But I think that Maddie was a little bit, like, even though Sadie was being really mean, Maddie was a little bit harsh because he, like, asked her to come to this and she gave up her time to come help. But then again, like, his what was the quote about?
If you meet more than 2 assholes in the day, maybe you're the asshole.
Yeah, that's true.
Which I tell people that all the time. I'm like, look, if you're the common denominator and, like, all these friendships that keep falling through, then maybe you're the problem.
Yeah, you need to, like, take a step back.
Yeah, you need to take a step back. I mean, I do it to myself. I'm like, man, you know what? This has happened a couple times in my life. What am I doing to project, you know, this sort of image or this sort of activity to be happening? You know, sometimes you got to look internally. Yeah. Sadie. But, you know, I think that Maddie's talk ultimately did help, but in the immediate, it did not, because Sadie's now driving the truck, and
we finally see her get in this accident.
Yeah, she's getting this accident. She's texting and driving, but not illegally. Yeah. She's talking to it, but Siri is a biatch who doesn't understand you ever, so then you have to use your hands to correct things, and that's why I'm like, oh, this is how I always get caught texting and driving. Cause
I know. Sometimes it's even like, this is bad, but it's faster to just, like, text real quick at a red light, and then especially in LA because you're stopped so many times.
Yes. Or traffic in general, just you're dead stopped for a while. Yeah. So you got time.
So sometimes it's, like, faster to do that than to just talk to Suri, because she gets it wrong most of the time. At least for me, she gets it wrong.
All the time.
But I know that's terrible, but...
It is. So she gets into an accident. She crashes into another car and then hits a road sign. But she was in the middle of texting all of these guys saying, you know, you're all horrible friends. I'd rather be dead than to be friends with you, which... I loved how it came full circle, because this is how the show started with Jenna and her accidental suicide attempt. And then Sadie was the biggest person to make fun of her for it and give her hell for it, like, over the past 5 seasons. And then here it is where Sadie now is the person who's been misunderstood and now is, like, having to have grief counseling, and Val is her grief counselor for her suicide attempt.
I'm glad that she's back, for one. Like, I'm so happy she's back.
I was so happy they brought Val back. They had to.
Yeah, but I'm glad that you said full circle, because I for sure thought that when we were gonna go into the hospital room, she was gonna have her arm up in a thing, and I was like, full circle, yes, this is perfect. And then she didn't, but...
Instead of the arm, it was the foot this time. She had to ride that awkward scooter around with her one leg bent. Those things, one leg is going to be so strong, because scooting around on that thing cannot be easy, all I got to say. Oh, my God. But she doesn't want to see anyone. She's yelling at the nurses still. She doesn't want to talk to Val, but Val, you know, gets her out to the Camp Puka last day, because that's where her horse Chocolate Chip is. Yeah. And even Sergio came to the hospital looking for her, and then she wasn't there, so he had to go up to the camp. But she starts talking to Chocolate Chip, and she really breaks down. Yeah. In a way that we haven't seen from her in a while, since, like, her parents were going through that whole thing.
It was nice to see, I think. For me, it was.
It was nice. She's like, you know what? No matter how bitchy I was, you always stood by me, and even though I didn't say I love you as much as I should have, you always knew that I loved you, and I wish that my friends knew the same thing, and they're all there listening to it all. Yeah. And then she knows that they're there. She's like, you can come out now. But it was such a beautiful moment. It was a beautiful moment for Sadie to really see her and to remember, because this whole episode was kind of her being bitchy Sadie. Yeah. So it was a really great reminder to the audience that she is human, and she has the human emotions, because you can't close out a season or series with, you know, her being unredeemable. And this made her redeemable in a way.
I feel so happy that you just said all that. It really touched my heart. That was good. It was everything I was thinking.
Sometimes I'm, like, really deep and emotional. You're welcome.
Snaps for you.
Yes, thank you. Snaps for me. And so everything kind of culminates with this giant campfire with all the people who've been there and that we love.
It was a perfect ending.
It was a perfect ending. Laughing, making s'mores, like having a great time. You got Val there.
Yeah, she's our family, friends. Well, she did say soulmate, but you know, they are soulmates.
Soulmates who just have a hard time getting it together.
Yeah, but they'll always be there.
They'll always be there. I'll be there for you. Different show. Sorry, guys.
We should have played that at the beginning. Instead of this weird camp song thing.
The camp song is everything. Everything.
Okay.
So that about does it for the season or series finale of Awkward. I do have some news and gossip about what we can expect.
AfterBuzz TV News.
So I've been reading some articles, and it was said last summer, I believe, that season 5 would be the last season of Awkward.
And this is season 5.
This is season 5.
Okay.
But then it went into saying that, well, it depends on ratings, and I guess MTV has never officially canceled the show. This is according to the showrunners right now, because I was reading an article that they said this. They're like, last week, faking it, MTV for sure was like, this is canceled. Series finale.
Yeah.
Awkward, they are not saying that because MTV has not decided yet if they're getting more episodes, or they just haven't told the actors or the showrunners or the audience if they're getting more episodes. They're supposed to be revamping the style of MTV, but they just picked up a couple more comedy shows, so it makes you think, well, because MTV is supposed to be going back into more of a music centric thing, but they picked up 3 new comedy shows. So it's like Awkward, it's 3. And for a block of time, you usually need 4 comedies because they're only half hours.
Oh, so interesting.
So here's what I read in this thing. So if a 6th season would happen, they said that they would probably jump ahead again because they made the ending of this season finale the end of a chapter because they felt like they needed to give the audience some closure just in case they didn't come back. And also they needed to close this chapter in case they came back so that they could start a new chapter. So with a new chapter means there's a possibility of a new city and a completely different feel to the show in
this
general.
This is giving me the chills.
I know. The next season would have to be a different phase of all of their lives. And most of the cast is still interested in continuing on. It doesn't say all. So there's clearly some people who, you know, probably feel it's time to move on for their characters or whatnot.
Oh my
but
gosh.
There is still a possibility out there, guys, that this show could come back. So make sure you're doing what you can. Tweeting and all that stuff to MTV saying like, we want Awkward back because there is still just a little bit of hope to get it back right now.
What would they do if Jenna's character didn't come back?
I think that it would move into being more about
like a spin-off sort of like New York.
Yeah. That's what I think would happen.
But if she does, are they going to do like New York and
I think California? They would just kind of move
forward
everything because if it's another time jump as well, I'm assuming that everyone would be done with college at this point.
Oh yeah.
You know, because we time jumped to after the first year, so another time jump would mean done with college or graduation from college, and then
where
trying to figure out that first year after college, man, you don't know what you're doing. It's hard. I think I sat on my parents' couch for like 6 months, like I don't know what to do.
Yeah, do you move away? Do they stay in New York or do they go home? Does Jake find himself? I don't know.
You don't
do
know.
Maddie and Jenna come back together? Do they have babies? Do they get married? Do they have the ring from the kid that the kids made?
See, so many questions. So, this is so great because the show could literally go anywhere from here.
Yeah.
The way they closed it out, it could go anywhere. It could be a 4-year time jump. It could be a 10-year time jump. And they're getting back together for their high school reunion. And that's what reunites them all. If
Maddie has a baby with someone else, I will be so mad.
I mean, he probably will. He's Maddie McKibben. Someone's hitting that. Just saying. Someone is like, you know what? I want that sperm in my body to make a baby because, yes, all things. Praise his name.
I hope he's watching this right now. We wish you could have been here with us. Especially for this episode.
Yeah, wish you could have been here, Bo, but yeah. So, I guess that kind of was our predictions in there too. So,
your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Do you have anything else that you predict for this show?
No, I mean, I just really hope that Maddie and Jenna end up together. I'm glad that they closed it off how they did, because I did not know what you just said, and that made so much sense to me that they closed it off where they did, and now it could time jump somewhere else. So I just hope that everyone finds themselves and they're happy, and the relationships come back together, and they all stay friends.
I do hope that they stay friends, but I think that if they did like a 10-year hop, it would be fun to see them at their high school reunion. Maybe like they haven't been as close, or they lost contact with each other in ways. I'm
sure they did, but it's so sad to think about.
It's sad to think about, but it's also like, okay, but then Lissa and Tamara are best friends, you know, something weird like that has happened, but then they haven't talked to the others in a while. Yeah. Stuff like that. I want a Romy and Michelle's high school reunion type of vibe going on here.
This should be the year for my 5-year high school reunion.
They do 5-year high school reunions?
And I don't know. The group above me did one last summer, so I'm assuming that we would have one.
That's just weird.
Did you not?
No, I had a 10-year, and it was terrible. I was like, I know what everyone's doing because of Facebook. Yeah. So I didn't have anything to talk to them about. Plus, I didn't like most of them. So... Sorry. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching our show all season. Thank you for Summer Girls LFO. Thank you for being fans of this show. I've been on this panel for a lot of seasons, so in case this is the last time I'm on this panel, thank you guys so much for tuning in every week and listening to my awkward stories about how in high school I was awkward, in college I was drunk and a slut. Thank you so much for tuning in. And where can everyone find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram @_Veronica GAB. And thank you for having me.
Thanks for joining me this season.
It was
Wouldn't
fun.
have been able to do it without you.
Aww.
And make sure you guys check out all the shows we do on AfterBuzz. Oh, what other shows are you doing on AfterBuzz so people can follow you?
I don't have anything yet.
Okay.
Yet.
But stay tuned, because if you watch her Twitter, she'll let you know.
Watch my Twitter.
And you can find me at the Tiona Hobson. I'm also on the Containment After Show, which will be on at 10 p.m. tonight. And then I'll be on Suits later on this summer. So thank you guys for tuning in. Go to AfterBuzz, support us, love us. I miss you guys already. Thank you for watching, and have a great summer. Woo.
Executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff. We would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
You're welcome.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.